Patton, what's up? What's going on? Patton, do you love your job? You love your job? Kimberly, they're mandating the vax at your job. Looks like you're going to be looking for a new job, aren't you? I guess. It's a personal thing. Never seen that happen before. In human history, in my history, except World War II, do you love your job? We're going to talk about that tonight. Why or why not? Do you love your job? That is the question for tonight. Do you love your job? Why or why not? Just going over some notes here. Good to see everybody tonight. Good to have you here. You love teaching, but not your job. Yeah. Yeah, when they make the jab mandatory. I hear you. Just looking outside, it's raining. I'm not sure what I'm hearing. Oh, let's see. You help people that can't breathe get better. Respiratory therapist. Okay. You're also a landlord. Enjoy that more than being in the hospital. Work steady midnights. Job. It's tough as hell. That's what we're gonna. You can answer that in the chat. Do you love your job? Why or why not? Yep. Kimberly says, I will never take this vax. More power to you. I'm with you, Kimberly. 8 more years, then you're going to retire. Okay. Mia says, there's so many negative people at my job that love money. The love of money is pretty bad. The love of what money can buy is pretty good. If those things, if it's for taking care of your family, but the love of money itself is not good. Matthew says he's looking for a new job. Do you love your job? Why? That's what I'm asking. That's the topic for tonight. I want to add this. Desire will turn into anxiety if not acted upon. You hear me? Desire, if you desire to leave your job, if you desire to change your place in life, if you desire to be independent, wealthier, if that desire is not acted upon, if there's not a plan, then all of a sudden that becomes anxiety, a free-floating anxiety that just stays with you. You're always anxious. You're always jumpy, and your anger is just below the surface of your skin. You know, you could blow up at any moment because you haven't taken action on your desires. We were made literally to take action on our desires. Your desires are not some crazy dream. You know, never feel guilty or ashamed about your desires. And I'm not talking like sexual desires. I'm talking about your desires to want to create and make money. Yeah. Yeah. Desire will turn into anxiety if not acted on. That's kind of like what we're talking about. In addition to the question, do you love your job? Why or why not? The difference between people who succeed at changing their jobs and doing their own thing, creating their own business, their own type of earning structure, is resilience. How fast do you get back up after a fall? How fast? How quick do you get back up? How long do you stay down and feel sorry for yourself? So, regarding your job, what are you living with right now regarding your job that could be different? What have you accepted as normal, which was once abnormal for you? What are you doing right now in your life that one time you thought might have been abnormal, but now you found yourself, you're doing it? That's another question I want to ask. What are you living with now that could be different? And what have you accepted as normal, which was once abnormal to you? Those are deep questions. Strategic consultant, giving guitar lessons was abnormal. Now it's normal. Breakfast at dinner time. Yeah. It's not normal to accept BS from anybody. It's admirable to have grace when dealing with difficult people, but that doesn't mean you have to accept nonsense. Watcher says, I thought all of my body pain I felt while I was working out was normal, but massage and chiropractic tell me otherwise. Okay. 12-hour shifts. Driving for Uber Eats. Yeah. What right now, what are you living with in your life that could be different? And what have you accepted as normal, which was once abnormal to you? Drew says he's starting a 13-hour now. That's a trip. Yeah, I I work with firefighters, professional firefighters that do these 24-hour shifts, and overtime for them is like, doing another day. So like a 48-hour shift. Unbelievable. Isn't that something? Father's death after your birthday. Yeah, that's rough. That's rough. Working 6 days is a new normal. I work 6 days, but I don't work for other people for 6 days a week. I noticed that when I worked exclusively full time for someone else, by the end of Friday, I was done. I was literally looking forward to the weekend and hated Monday mornings. Yeah. When I started working for myself, that's when I actually started really enjoying life, and I wasn't keeping track of week and weekend. That was a huge thing for me. What's up, Elliot? Yeah, I didn't keep track of weekends. Now, Sunday's my day of rest. It's kind of funny. Today's what, Tuesday? Sunday, I didn't rest very much. I took a nap in the afternoon, but it wasn't much of a day of rest for me. I feel I should have at least rested, but I got so much work done. Sunday was sick. Working for yourself set you free. Well, Elliot, you're in the hair business, and like, well, in Pennsylvania, they don't have booth rental. You got to be an employee, and there's a whole different attitude with, I don't know what they call it down in Georgia. Do they call it booth rental in the hair industry down there? I know if you just do like a walk-in business, that could grow. If you gain clients over a long period of time and you retain them, that can grow. But when you do booth rental, you literally, it's all about the hustle, 100%. Yeah. Got unstuck 2 years ago. BK from the Rockies. Good to see you, man. We're talking tonight about, do you love your job? Why or why not? Anna Guevara says, I work for a nonprofit that provides services for older adults. It's stress-free. I manage the program. That's awesome, Anna. I like that. Yeah. When I made the move to work for myself, I no longer kept track of the weekends. I loved Fridays because I'm like, woohoo, I got 2 days off. And then Sunday nights, I was just like, oh, I got to work tomorrow. And as soon as I made the transition to working for myself 6 days a week, and forcing a day of rest, so to speak, on Sundays, life got so much better. Facing internal struggle, Kevin says, when presented with professional change, money, or good relations. Okay. Yeah, Patton says the two family, do you call it a duplex or a twin? I know in Pennsylvania they call them duplex. Yeah. To quote Aaron Clary, I embrace the suck when it comes to my W-2 job. Yeah, yeah. There's a certain amount of security that comes from a W-2 job. It's not 100%. Dante, yeah, I have a client that's a professional painter, and listening to his stories about what he does, commercial work, and, kind of like the home market. Yeah. Do you love your job? You love your job, and why or why not? Desire turns into anxiety if not acted upon. What are you desiring in your life, career wise, that you're not acting on? Whatever you're not acting on is going to cause anxiety. strange reactions, lack of sleep, emotional eating, dysfunctional relationships, dysfunctional family, withdrawal from society, isolation, weirdness. Desire turns into anxiety and other forms of pathology if not acted upon. There's nothing like having a $3,000, $5,000, $6,000 day, and then you end your day, lock all the doors, windows, make sure everything's safe in the house, and you lay your head down. You sleep pretty sweetly. You do that every day, and you never have sleep deprivation. Never, never. As a matter of fact, you get so excited about work that you wake up without an alarm clock, and you set an alarm clock only because you're so used to it. That's it. I get up before my alarm clock. I think I've hit the snooze maybe 5 times in the past year. But I'm up. This morning I was up at 3 o'clock making my mud water at 3 o'clock in the morning, like a crazy man. 3 o'clock. I started my reading at 3 a.m. Philip Smith says, my boss complimented me today in my half-year review. Welcome to encouragement. Yeah. Praise in public, reprimand in private. Mm-hmm. Yep. So what we're talking about tonight is, do you love your job? Why or why not? Desire turns into anxiety if not acted upon. And finally, what are you living with now, career-wise, that could be different? What have you accepted as normal that used to be abnormal for you? That's what we're talking about tonight. That's the topic. Now, if those questions don't stir you, then you might not be ready for change in your life. Think about some of the things that you put up with in relationships that, like 5 years ago, 10 years ago, that you thought you'd never put up with. You know, it's insane. But just kind of like things creep up on you a little bit. Drew says, I love writing my own paycheck. I don't so much love the difficulty in disconnecting and being able to take time off, because that doesn't happen. Yep. Yep. Totally hear you. Your job is to consistently improve your life. I love my job. That's what Russell says. But do you get paid for that? Do you get paid for that job? That's what I would ask. That sounds like an attitude, which could lead to getting paid. Elliot says, I learned early to cope with the setbacks. Resilience. There are going to be setbacks. Last year, I cut hair part-time, but even that part-time job creates a certain amount of income for me. Last year, the place where I work closed down for about 4 months. Like, what the heck? I used to brag, well, cutting hair, which is like my trade, it's recession proof. You can always make money. Last year, that was hard. And I made a decision in the middle of last year. I said, screw this. I will never, ever, ever put myself in a situation where a friggin' virus is going to get, I want to, instead of recession proof my income, I want to virus proof my income. And that's what everyone has to do. Because everyone took a hit last year. Most people took a hit last year. All over the world. It was weird. Tell me that wasn't planned. But don't get me started on that. Why is it that when people win the lottery, the first thing they want to do is quit their job or tell their boss to shove it or not even go into work? What if you won $300 million in the Powerball? Would you still go to work? Would you still show? What if you won 300 million in the Mega Millions tonight? Would you go to work tomorrow? Jeremiah says, I'd start my own business, but would you go to work to tell your boss that you're quitting? Or would you just like not go? Or just call him and say, send my last paycheck to whatever. Elliot says, I would because my work is part of my mental health. Okay, that's cool. Philip Smith, good answer. Yes, maintain the same routine, pay off the house, call Dave Ramsey and how the best investment. Or Grant Cardone. Mia says she would create a job. Some people say they'd give notice. Joseph Spatola says, I'd come and work for you. That's cool. I'm hard to work for, though. Tanisha says, George, yes, I would go to work tomorrow and start the process of transitioning my clientele to another stylist. Okay, that's cool. BK says, if I won the Mega Millions, I'd have to make a trust to get the money so I can keep my identity and life normal. Yeah, a lot of people's lives change. When you follow those people that like hit the lottery, like the millions of dollars, their lives change. There's many people destroy themselves. And what's weird is a lot of them just burn through that money, which is kind of weird to think about it. Violet Blue says, best thing about feeling at your lowest is that just about anything can start your journey back up. True? When there's nowhere to go but up. Christopher Cole says, I love being a self-employed arborist, plant healthcare specialist. Saving trees is rewarding for me, plus the money is good and it keeps me in incredible shape. 3 months off is, oh, that's cool. Well, the winter months, right? Yeah. Elliot says, I'd buy out the guy that I'm renting space from. There you go. Supreme Leader says, I want to work from home full time. Yeah. BK says, it's a life-changing amount of money that folks aren't prepared to accept. That's true. That's true. It's just a surprise. Horse Mumbler says, art and craft. Find something that you wouldn't mind making as a hobby, then get good at it. People want to buy from you. Give sets of wares to friends with an invitation to sell them. Okay. Drew says he would become a philanthropist after buying a bunch of cars. Cool. Sell firewood in the winter. Kellis, George Kellis. Everybody say hello to George Kellis. That's a friend of mine. I'm going to do a little commercial for George Kellis. George Kellis is this is my words, and then I'll ask him to tell you, a media consultant, an event consultant that can take an event from an idea, just like you want to create this expo at the local convention center. He's the guy you want to call to start talking about these ideas, the logistics of it, how much to charge, who are the speakers going to be, who are the vendors going to be, who are you going to bring in, who are the camera people, who are the audio people, who are the people that are going to expedite production after the event's over with, who's going to sell tickets, how are you going to sell tickets, why are you going to sell tickets? Where are you going to sell tickets? That's George Kellis. Now, George Kellis, you tell us what you do after I just talked about you. George Kellis is a video producer, event director, content strategist. I get to work with great guys like George Bruno, Donovan Sharp, Phil Foster. Excellent. And great guys like us get to work with great guys like you. It is our pleasure. It is our pleasure. Absolutely. Can you imagine having a job where even if you won $100 million in the lottery, you'd still go to work because you love it so much? That's a trip, right? The questions for tonight are, do you love your job? Why or why not? Desire, if not acted upon, becomes anxiety. And what are you accepting in your life as normal that wasn't normal at one time in your life? So there's a question for everybody. Shipwreck says I would start real estate and investment business, living a low-key life while still being able to help people and causes I care about, living off the interest, but doing what I want when I want. Cool. Yeah. You'd buy a brand new Toyota Yaris. Yeah. Woohoo. That 1.1 liter. 2071 says I could see myself staying at a job after winning millions simply because I like stability too much. So winning millions of dollars in the lottery might mean instability for you. What you're thinking about is, I think the proper word would be structure. Your job provides structure for your life. You might not have the discipline to get up at a certain time, to get dressed, take a shower, and be accountable and meet deadlines. Sarah Connor says I would buy land and create systems for people to farm, build tiny houses on it, coop type. Okay, I've seen like little cottage communities like that. Yeah. Tenacious says I never thought I'd be talking to people through a mask. That makes two of us. Foundations at local charities for youth fellowship. That's cool. That's very cool. Some great answers tonight. I'm just having a good time reading everything that you're writing. Seriously. Tenacious says, Sarah, may I teach health and wellness fitness classes at your tiny house community? It'd be awesome. See, businesses are starting right here on this humble YouTube channel. Connections are being made. Networking is happening. You're witnessing it here. My goal is to get George Kellis another gig tonight. This is the most organized human being I've ever seen. I have never seen a more organized human being in my life who can get things done. George Kellis. If you want to know more about George Kellis or how to reach him, let me know. Let me know. Or reach out to him here. This guy will get you going. Seriously. Would I still cut hair, do coaching, and do the Daybreak show? Heck yeah, every day. Absolutely. 100%. I would cut hair one day a week because I love doing it. Coaching, I would cut down by 2 clients. I would go from 12 to 10. And Daybreak show every single day. Yep. George Ortiz says George is a very good name. It's true. I enjoy my current occupation as a technician in a small company, but I don't click with my coworkers and sometimes feel like they want me to get fired. Any words of wisdom from the Sultan? Yeah, don't join the current. Make yourself irreplaceable. Make them look bad. I remember one time I worked at a place years ago where I was just providing insane customer service, and someone said, dude, relax, man, you're making us look bad. That's the same guy. That's the same guy. That one time this is years ago, I was cutting hair at this barber shop. You got to realize cutting hair is a humble job. It's a very, very humble job. Okay. And a Lamborghini pulls up in front of the barber shop, and the same guy that was breaking my chops said, oh, that must be one of George's clients. So, yeah. George Kellis says, self-employment, like many things, is like a stream. You can only move the stones and not the water. Focus on the stones. It's good wisdom right there. That's good wisdom. Well, in order to do anything, in order to better yourself, the first person that you have to convince is yourself that you can do it. You don't have to sell anybody but yourself. Think about that. You don't have to sell anybody but yourself when you're thinking about improving yourself. People are not going to help you in a way that you think they will. They're not going to. Philip Smith says, George Kellis, precision strategies, masterful production. It's awesome. It's true. Orientation to the current things in your control. Yep. Stones are in your control. The first person you have to convince is yourself. If you can't sell yourself on something, then you're not going to be able to convince anyone else. It's like when I write. If I don't enjoy what I'm writing, if I don't enjoy it, you're not going to enjoy reading it. Like, for instance, I just wrote this book. Okay. This is now 3 legal pads filled with text. I'm actually a writer. I write with a pen on paper, and then I transcribe on the back of my clipboard. But I'm enjoying this. I was proofreading it today, and I was actually enjoying reading my own book. I'm like, man, I really like that. I was like getting motivated from my own words. If I don't enjoy writing it, you're not going to enjoy reading it. If you don't enjoy your work, no one is going to enjoy your product. Does that make sense? That's why I think it's always important that everybody has a product of some type. Even your service is a product. I mean, when I look at people like George Kellis, his product really is the most amazing detailed, a detail-oriented man who can bring things to life with a spreadsheet. Amazing. Tanisha, you like the clipboard? Let me see. That's kind of like my other one. My boy, that doesn't, you think that communicates with people if I'm on a stage somewhere and I'm reading from my clipboard and they see this or they see this? Oh, that's funny. Steve says, I enjoy being creative, making music, but I realize that it's not going to pay the bills. Exactly. Exactly. 100%. You know, in the 80s, there was this lame book called Do What You Love and the Money Will Follow. I don't believe that for 1 second. That's a bunch of new age trash. I like to say that, I mean, it doesn't hurt to like your job. It doesn't hurt. Let me put it that. Like, don't choose jobs that you hate. But I will tell you this. I will tell you this. Do what makes money and the money will follow. Do what makes money and the money will follow. If you happen to like what you do, woohoo! Awesome. Fantastic. The other thing is this, I tell people, if you don't like your job, maybe it's not the job. Maybe it's not, like, for instance, I used to cut hair at a very high-end men's grooming salon, like the top place, one of the top places in the country. And I hated working there. But it made me think that I hated cutting hair. And I came to the conclusion, maybe it's not the hair cutting that I hate. Maybe it's where I'm doing the hair cutting. And that's where I came up with that. Yeah. Thomas Matthews, you can earn lots of money working in the sewage industry, but no one's going to love the job. Well, think about it. Wasn't there a show called Dirty Jobs with Mike Rowe on Discovery Channel or something like that? TLC, right? Yeah. You guys saw the video that I did, oh my Lord, a year and a half ago with Judy Ward, who owns a trash and recycling company in New Jersey. Like, uber successful woman, super successful woman, has like 3 houses, has a life. George Kellis just texted me and said, we need Mike Rowe. You know what? I think we do. I think that would be great. That would be great. George, let's work on that. Let's work on that. Judy Ward has this trash and recycling business. Hey, Dolly, what's going on? Elliot says, do the job no one wants to do and you can make a fortune. Yeah. Well, what's that one meme that says, if you think your job is bad, just remember that there's someone who has cleaned the toilets at Taco Bell. That is so funny. As soon as you start complaining about your job, just think there's somebody that has to clean the bathrooms at Taco Bell. That's funny. Sorry, bro, we don't talk politics here. Keep your negative shit. Just take it somewhere else, not on this channel. So that's an instant block. People who have like social media just to be against something. I mean, is that the definition of loser? Seriously, you wake up and even the name, your handle on social media is like against something or somebody. That's just they get about maybe half a second attention. That's about it. Dolly says, that's why I became a nurse, so I could do different things with the same degree. Yeah. Hey, Dolly, do you watch Patriot Nurse on YouTube? She did a video today. First of all, I love Patriot Nurse, but I gotta push that down. But other than that, her video was great. She has a great channel. Yeah. Yeah, great stuff. Great stuff. Steve says I go into work from 4 a.m. to 12:30. Yeah. Yeah. Nursing's great. Yeah, Dolly, when you get a chance, see it. She was on fire. It's about 30 minutes, but uh, she was on fire today. It was a trip. You're gonna like it. Very passionate today. Not that she's not passionate on the other days, but yes. Yeah. Against Spike Lee joints. I thought Spike Lee's first 5 movies were great. He lost me after that, and then he caught me again with Summer of Sam. What else? And that was it. I was done with him. Yeah. Mia says you're making me see things differently about how I look at my job. Well, that's what I do here. That's what I do. If I can stimulate change, make you think a little bit about things. Well, I mean, I wrote a book about it. Here it is right here. You are actually seeing, like everyone else I know that writes books literally has them on a hard drive, a flash drive. It's a file in your computer. I write everything out. I write everything out and then transcribe it. That's what I do. So I'm kind of like, I, I love the analog life. Like you guys know Dale, who was on here the other night. He's sending me a Remington typewriter. He's sending me a typewriter because I love typing. Love typing. So, and I haven't had a typewriter in 20 years. Yeah. What's up, Lana? Dolly, I got a notice. I'm on an email list for Malabar Mo's. Is that the place that you were mentioning the other night? The biker bar, Malabar Mo's on US 1, right? Is that the place that you think I would like? When I look at their stuff, it looks like the kind of place that I would like to hang out. Yeah. Aaron says I oversee programs for adults with brain injuries. Staff shortages, regulations, and the 24/7 nature of it make it super difficult. I desperately want to leave most days. Yeah, TBI is hard to work with. Very, very difficult. Yeah. Dolly, am I right? It's a biker bar. Yeah. Oh, I figured out the place. Remember last week I was talking about a place on the river in Melbourne, across from the harbor, called Squid Lips. That was the name of the restaurant that has like live music. It's right on the river, just over the causeway. Squid Lips. That's the name of the place that I enjoyed going to. So yeah, when I eventually get to Florida, my hangouts probably, I'm just trying to think. I I would go to Lou's Blues. That is such a pickup joint. Yeah, Dolly says, if you've been to Squid Lips, you've probably done seen me. Probably. They have great food there. I was just so impressed with the food. And the drinks are fantastic. Yeah. Yeah, I went to Squid Lips with my mother and father, and there was a band playing, and there was a guy there who's known in the area. He has a band, and he's known all over. What the heck is the guy's name? He plays at all the bars. He's been doing it for like 30 years. Super talented. He's like an older guy, tall, surfer-looking dude. I saw his band there, and they were good. He got everybody up dancing. It was a blast. Yeah, but when I go to Lou's Blues, it's like I can't. I've been to Captain Hiram's. Yeah, been there. Yeah, Dolly. If I know the guy's name, the skinny tall guy. Yes, yes, yeah, yeah, yeah. But when I go to Lou's Blues, it just is a pickup place. They got great music there. I enjoy the music there. I like live music. So, but when I go there, the women, man, I got to peel them off of me. I got to fight them back when I go there. It's crazy. I don't know if it's like, it's like they've never seen a man before. I don't understand it. It's weird. Or like I'm a new face or something like that. But the last time I was there, I saw this band called the Divas, this all woman band. And they were a blast. Oh my God. They were a blast. Yeah, he does a solo act. Yeah. Yeah. The places I used to go to in Florida were the Pink Flamingo, Purple Porpoise. This is before Lou's Blues. Where else? I used to shoot pool at the Purple Porpoise. No, at Pink Flamingo. I would shoot pool there. Yeah. it's, it's funny, Dolly, how our worlds kind of crossed. That's funny. That's good. And then when I'm with my mom and dad's, we go to Ichabod's and we go to Chart House in the harbor. That's what we do. That like every time I go to Florida, we end up at Ichabod's on one night and Chart House on the next night for happy hour. We're not like main dinner hour people. We're like 4 o'clock people, and then going into happy hour, that kind of stuff. Tulsa, Oklahoma. Go Gators. Porpoise was my bar in Gainesville. Blue Moon Cafe. Yeah, there's chart houses around the country, and they have like a higher level. It's a nice, like their happy hours are it's just like a step above. Like you're not going to see a lot of like muddy, like road workers and construction workers and roofers in a place like that. It's usually like people who like took a shower before they went there. Yeah. So if I go out, I used to go out and just love sitting at a bar. Now I'd rather just sit at a table, watch the music, get a bite to eat, get a couple appetizers and a cocktail. And that's kind of like that's my thing. Aaron says, do I provide coaching on paths to career changes? See this book right here that I just wrote? That's what that's on. Career changes right there. So yes, that's a long answer to your question. Yes. Ian says, just got here, but concerning the title, I like the industry that I'm in, particularly not my job. Yeah, yeah. You could love your job, but not love where you're doing it. Hogarth says, I love my various jobs as a lawyer, adjunct professor, real estate development, short jobs that give me maximum independence and the sense of accomplishment. Yeah. Yeah, I was a adjunct professor in 5 different colleges, and I loved it. Never taught more than 2 courses at a time. I had a blast. It wasn't a burden. I wasn't a full-time teacher, so it wasn't weighing me down. So I actually had time to actually think, spend time with students, stay after class, answer questions, make class interesting. So that was something that I really enjoyed a lot of. I applied down at FIT, Florida Tech, for this fall, but nothing popped for me. Nothing popped for me. I would have loved to have taught a course or 2 at Florida Tech this fall. Would have loved it. So I got to make a call. I got to knock again, see what happens. Maybe they'll hire me for the spring, or maybe I'll just reach out to them and say, hey, if anyone died, if there's any professors that died, I'd love to take their place. So Eastern State College, I could teach there because I have a background in criminal justice, and they do have a criminal justice major there and investigation. I could teach profiling there. Yeah. John Hoover from Austin, Texas says, I love my professions as a diver and investigator. Yeah, I think, John, in some areas, your career and my career kind of, I don't know if we kind of crossed disciplines, but we kind of bounced off of each other. Our disciplines would bounce off of each other. Yeah. Eastern State College, they have these crazy expectations that everyone's going to have a PhD, and I don't have a PhD. I have a master's and like decades of experience in continuing ed, but I don't have a PhD, and that's the issue that that I have with Eastern State. But what I really would, where I really wanted to teach was Florida Tech, but I would consider Eastern State as well. Yeah. Dana up in Canada, good to see you. Adirondack chairs. Yeah. All you got to do is make them and stick them in your front yard or on your truck bed with a for sale sign, right? And boom, instant sale. Yeah, I would never go to a woke school. I would never go to a woke school, ever. Dolly says, I'm an oncology nurse supervisor for a big health plan now, so I'm not clinical anymore, but I've done lots of kinds of nursing, hospital, pediatric, geriatric. Okay. Yeah. I love my job as a sheriff's deputy while I go through college, going for my master's and doctorate in history so I can become a professor eventually. Okay. That's cool. That's cool. I was a constable for 6 years. 6 years. That was an elected position. Worries and stress consume your soul. And Dolly says, now I manage a team of nurses who review oncology cases for imaging. Managing nurses? Is that kind of like a bag of cats? FIT what used to be the school you go to for anything underwater, marine biology and such. But I don't know. I don't know if that's a viable career anymore, you know? Oh, did I tell you I'm going alcohol free for August? It's alcohol free August. August is going to be no wine, no whiskey. What do they say? Wine, women, and song or something like that? San Pellegrino tonight. Dolly, clutter stresses you out. Well, then you would hate the table that's right alongside of me right now. There's a lot of pipes and tobacco tins and weird things on it. Well, there's a difference between sober and just not drinking. I'm just choosing not to drink. Sober means kind of like the opposite of being drunk. So I'm going alcohol free. Yeah. No wine. What am I going to drink? San Pellegrino. That's what I'm working on. That's it. You can't enjoy a pipe without a cocktail. Many years ago, I learned how to enjoy a pipe with a cup of tea and coffee. And I just thought it was weird. I'm like, ooh, a pipe and tea? Like, ugh. Now I think like, ooh, pipe and tea. That sounds good. So tonight's topic was, do you love your job? Why or why not? And desire turns into anxiety if not acted on. That's why many people have anxiety. And then also, what are you living with now that could be different? And part two of that is, what have you accepted as normal, which used to be abnormal for you? So a lot of good answers tonight. A lot of good interaction in the chat. A couple weirdos popped in. They had to be removed suddenly. So, all right. It's time for me to go to bed. It's been a long day. And I got a long day tomorrow. And I'm already excited about mud water tomorrow morning. I'm excited about that. I don't know why. It's like a mixture of chai, cacao, cinnamon. And then I've been using a non-dairy creamer, like a keto creamer, and not cream or half and half. So I'm kind of psyched about that. It's weird. All right. Good night, everybody. See you. Love you. Sleep well.